One of the cheapest, quickest, and I'd say best ways for home gym owners to add variety to their training is add cable attachments. Today, I'm going to tell you my favorites. There's a lot. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and I use a lot of cable attachments. I'm sure many of you do. We don't just attach them to cables like functional trainers, but also lat pull downs, but also you can attach them to dumbbells, and sometimes I'll attach them to belt squats and all sorts of things. I would say, and I actually heard Dr. Mike Israetel talk about this, how for a home gym owner, you don't have the space for all sorts of machines, but you can add a different handle and suddenly you can change the movement, you can change what muscles you're hitting, all sorts of things. It doesn't make sense for home gym owners to buy a single machine a lot of times that does one thing, but having a functional trainer, especially now that they're integrated into the rack, and then have a bunch of attachments that take up little space and aren't very expensive is a great idea. So I'm gonna show you some of my favorites. There is random ones from very expensive to very cheap, from big companies to companies you've probably never heard of. Some of these you can buy on Amazon, but we'll put links below the like button if you'd like to check those out, just so you know if you purchase through those, the companies oftentimes will pay a small commission, but it's not gonna increase how much you pay. It does just support us for this kind of content. So let me start in my goodie bag. I'm actually gonna start with the one that I probably use like the most, and it's this one. This is the Spud Inc. Long Ab Strap. They have multiple of these, which also, another thing you'll notice, I have a lot of these carabiners. I went on Amazon and bought a ton of these. These are the second best carabiner ever made. I'm gonna show you the best one here in a moment, but they no longer make them. I really like these. I like the color of them. I like the snappiness. They're made for climbing, and because they have a pretty thin yoke, you can fit them on a lot of that have thin holes. Example, those are Prime Fitness, which I have some of those attachments there. So these are really nice. But the long ab strap, I would say, if you're looking for some sort of attachment to just be like a real workhorse, very versatile, it's this guy. So obviously it's made for doing ab work. Basically you attach to a cable, you put it behind you, you then kind of wrap your hands in, or you can wrap your forearms in, depending on how you want to use it, and you can crunch, which is great for that. But due to the length and just how it's designed, you can use it for a lot of other things too, like tricep extensions, behind the back tricep extensions, hammer curls. But one thing that I really like using it for is putting my wrist through and then wrapping it so I'm grabbing the strap, but it's really connected to my wrist, so it takes my grip out of it, and then doing face pulls. It works great for that. Or I used to attach it to my Squat Max MD, random, but I attached it to my Squat Max MD, do the same thing, wrap my hand, and then I would do duff and high pulls, I think they're called, where basically you pull up and then do the Y, where it just, your rear delts, traps, all that. Fantastic. This, bang for the buck, everything that I've got under this table, I highly recommend these. Made from Spud Inc. You can get them in all sorts of places, but last a long time. This video is brought to you by Element. I've been using Element for the past year or so. Element is an electrolyte sugar-free drink mix. Basically, it's salt, flavored salt that you put in your water. It tastes very good. They now have a bubbly version that tastes even better. Basically, it's a great option if you want to drink something other than sugary drinks. You want some benefits from electrolytes. Basically, the way I use Element is at the end of my day or midday when I'm starting to get tired. Basically, this is a good pick-me-up. Once I take this midday, I usually get out of the midday slump, and then I'm able to keep working or training. But I've been using Element for over a year. I'm a huge fan, and they now sponsor the channel. If you'd like to get your own free sample pack with any Element drink purchase, you can check out the link below the like button. Go through there. It has an exclusive offer for you where you can purchase them. Also, try these. These are very good. Whether you buy them or not is your choice. It's the choice of a new generation. Another guy that likes some Juji Mufu, John Call, when we went out to his place, he's in North Carolina. He did these pull-through things. I don't even know how to describe them. We'll put them on the video, but another way that you can use them, basically, he was using them, I think it was for lats, is the type of movement that he's doing. But man, they're just very versatile. Next, we'll do some handles, and these are from a bigger company, Rep Fitness. They have a few different handle styles, way better than the old urethane D handles. I love that they've gotten rid of those. I just play that clip, please. These things are not good.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
They're gonna beat me up once the camera's off. I love that clip, but they have multiple. Really, I would say their best like value handle is the knurled version of these, which people in our facility like them so much they steal them. So they're currently in Nathan's garage and in Brandon's garage. I don't even get to use them because they like them so much. But they're really good handles. This is their basically coated version. It's got an aluminum handle and then it's coated. Nice if you like more of the coating style. And then this is their pro style handle, which is a very, like this whole design that they have on their pro style handles and lat pull down bars is really nice. I mean, look at the bushing components. They're just really nice if you want rotation. Also the handles rotate. Personally, and this is kind of, I've got another piece in here I'm gonna talk about. The overwhelming love amongst cable handle manufacturers for spinning handles needs to stop. A spinning handle is not superior. Why do people do pull-ups with fixed handles? It's because they don't want to spin off the bar. They want to be able to actually train the body part as much as they want. So on cable handles, it can be nice if you're doing rotation device things, but if you're doing a single arm lat pull down, dude, that spin sucks. So I would love to see more options where they don't spin, but for ones that do spin, this one's really nice. Although I will say some of their components, you can see it with the I-ring, like that galvanized, it's just not, that a little annoying. But the rest of the handles are really great. And now a lot of them come if you order like a Rep Aris or something from them, which is sweet. Okay, lat pull down bar. This one is a deep cut. This is the Mutant Metals Arc, and this is kind of a custom version. He said he's gonna start selling it on the site, but it's unique, and you can kind of tell how it's unique. Most pull-up bars are this way, right? Like they lean down. This one does the opposite. It has a 5-degree up tilt. He makes one that's both flat and a downward 5-degree, which is what most people probably get. This is a very smart idea. Mutant Metals makes the ultimate dip attachment, the UDA. They now do it through Rogue too, but he makes these handles with the UDA. And that's what these are, these handles right here. So this is an 18-inch handle, I think it is. This one is actually stainless steel and then Cerakoted. Personally, I would just buy the stainless steel version. I actually bought these used, and the guy bought the Cerakote versions. The knurling on these is just fantastic. They go in 1-inch holes so it can work on your rack. You can use them for their dip attachment, but you can also use them for their arc attachment for lat pull down. So you attach this in here. This is actually a Rogue knurled knob, which is just so nice with the embedded plastic washer, which I think they have a patent on. It's just really well done. You attach that in there, and then you can do lat pull downs. But this is based on a design from Larry Scott, an old bodybuilder. It's called the Larry Scott Pull Down Bar. Most pull down bars, your pinkies are gonna be like this, right? Which means it's probably gonna affect the stretch of your lat. The idea behind the Larry Scott bar was he was like, all right, let's put the pinkies up. So basically you have a bigger stretch when you're at the top of the movement. I will say, I haven't had this crazy long, but in use, I just hit just a crazy lat pull down workout. That's all it was, lat pull down. Crazy back workout a couple days ago. I'm still sore from it. But it's a good workout, and I did a ton of lat pull downs, and it felt awesome. One of the reasons it felt awesome with the upward tilt is I felt like I was like, you're kind of like ripping a bar apart, you know, like there's some flex. It just feels like you're like tearing, and that upward sweep just feels so good. Very nice. But the arc attachments comes in multiple colors, and another thoughtful feature, you have a carabiner hole in the middle, but you have 2 on the side, which that was designed specifically for you Rep Aris owners out there. So if you have a Rep Aris, this would allow you to attach both of your carabiners right here onto your lat pull down bar, so you don't have to use this stupid banana bar thing. Very nice. And then this carabiner, this is the best carabiner ever made. This is from Omega. They don't make this anymore. I don't know why. The reason that this is such a nice carabiner, has a massive gate. It's very lightweight, has a super high weight capacity, but it's also super thin. You can fit it on any hole. If I could have any carabiner, this would be the one that I'd get. If you can find these, if you got a dealer, let me know. If you can find these, let me know, because dude, these are amazing. I just can't find them. Okay, next one is a very unique handle. These are from Williams Strength or Strength and Speed. They've got multiple, Tsunami Bar. They got multiple companies. Williams Strength has a sub company called Tsunami Bar. Tsunami Bar makes a bar, you've probably seen them on social, where they like flex like crazy, like they bounce up and down. This uses that technology. This uses that sort of technology, which basically it's just this weird rubber handle, and it's a big handle, which seems like, oh, that would really tax your grip. And it does more than a smaller handle, but because it flexes, like you can see it flexing, when you use this for any sort of pushing movement, it kind of wraps around your hand and it feels so good. It feels good. It feels really good. It's just a really good feeling handle. It's not knurled. It is kind of like ribbed for your lifting pleasure, but it's good for pushing movements, not as good for pulling movements. Okay. Another one that is good for pushing movements, not great for pulling movements. That is just the most bougie handle of all time. The cone, the Kaz handles from Prime Fitness. Basically, they have two different diameters. I think this is the thicker diameter. I'd like to try the thinner diameter, but these are just so well done. They take a cone shape, so it feels very natural to the hand. For curls, feels amazing. Prime actually can attach these to their arm curl, preacher curl machine, which would be ridiculous. But great for pressing movements, great for flies, anything like that. If you want like a less advantageous grip, flip it, hold it that way. It works your forearms way more. Just feels really good in hand. Knurling is really well done. I actually like the lines. It just looks cool, feels cool. I actually use these. There's a while there where I didn't use them very much because I was like, I don't know, I just didn't get into them. Now I use them a lot. I really like these. While we're talking about Prime, you can't not talk about the rotate handle. These are, I don't want to say I don't like them. I love the paddle design. I think they're very smart. I love things that will decrease the amount of grip you have to use, but still use it. For instance, I've been using Versa grips more and more. The problem with Versa grips is they take your grip out like completely. These I think are good in between, which is really what it's designed for, which is it's not gonna take your grip out completely, but it's not gonna be nearly as much as holding the bar. The way they designed these is there's basically this paddle that flips here, and it forces, when you're lifting, it forces that paddle to kind of pull against it. There are other companies that have taken this paddle design. One example is Kensui, which you're like, oh, that's gonna feel the same. The problem with it, because they don't rotate like this one does, what happens is it actually makes your grip worse. It slides off. So these are really the version to get. They're very nice. I like the paddle. Use them quite a bit, mainly for pulling movements, but they are very expensive. So there's other things I would recommend above these because of how expensive these are. But if you're doing a lot of pulling movements, you want to still use your grip, but not just, use it like a bar. These are nice. Another option kind of like those is the Angles 90, which I have this attached to a Darko Shorty bar. This is actually something I've been using quite a bit. I've been using this with the Rogue Tricep pad. I'll put this in a Landmine bar. I'll tilt it up and then I'll use these. The Angles 90 are nice because it's similar to the rotate handles. You still are using some of your grip, but man, it's way easier than a typical bar, and you can make them easier or harder depending on which side you hold them or whether it's up or down. You can attach them to anything like Angles 90. We've talked about these for years. So many of you guys have these in your home gyms. If you don't have them yet, I'd probably suggest them because you can use them for all sorts of things. But this Darko Shorty bar, which is great for attaching multiple handles. So sometimes I'll use this on my free motion functional trainer and I'll attach one carabiner to each side. So I've got a ton of weight, but you can use a single one too, but it's got the hole in the middle where you can put it on a barbell and then you can use it for landmine stuff, which is how I've been using it lately for rows. And it's got UHMW plastic on both sides, the laser cut logo. This is like this black textured. He actually sells a stainless steel version, the long one, which I have. I would actually prefer if this bar was stainless and not textured. It looks cool, but over time it's just gonna wear from the cables. Regardless, this thing is so well done. Darko killed it on this. Highly recommend. I actually use it a lot more than I thought I would, but Angles 90 are nice too. The last one is the Spiral Strength. Dynepic Spiral Strength Dually. This is the nicest, bougiest tricep bar or tricep handle I've used. Your typical tricep rope, it works just fine. It's got the thick rope, that's what you're holding. Instead of that, they have these cones. These cones are an EPDM rubber. It's kind of flexible, but not overly so. The cone, similar to what the cone is using on the Kaz handles from Prime, similar idea, but these are rubber. It just fits in your hand really well. So whether you're doing tricep stuff, behind the neck tricep stuff, you also use them for hammer curls, which because of where the cone is like biggest, it actually really works your forearm, which is great for hammer curls. The other thing though is they attached them to a pulley. This is just a climbing pulley that's 300 pound rated. So you can basically do isometric one arm stuff where you're holding one arm in one place and then going to the other. But the other thing I like to do with this is if I want to use a single handle, I just extend that out and then attach it, and then the other handle's out of the way. So you can do all sorts of stuff with it. The only way they could improve this, 2 ways actually. If they knurled this, which would be pretty cool. The spiral is, it feels good, but knurling would just be better. And then the other thing would be this, it just makes more noise, squeaking noise, especially when you're using it, than I'd like. But regardless, big fan. Also, the price on this is, it's like 75 bucks, but then they have discount codes and stuff. You can get this for a good price. I think this is something that a lot of you should have. Anybody I've talked to, Nathan's got one, our videographer, anybody I've talked to that has got this, they love it. It's really nice, really well done. So good job done, Epic. Okay, there's a bunch of handles, bunch of cable attachments. What cable attachments am I missing? There's a few other that are top of my head that I want to get. One of them is like the American Barbell Tricep Bar. JD Jimmy Equipped sells so many good knurled stuff. I have so many of his stuff on a wish list of stuff I'd like because it's just really well done. There's a lot of people doing sweet cable attachments. I want to see even more of them. But is there any that I missed that you think I should try out? Let me know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.